Hey guys, welcome to Timpedia Book Review number 5. This time I'm going to talk about Dragon Age: The Stolen Throne, the first prequel to Dragon Age Origins, one of BioWare's latest RPG masterpieces. Um, some background, a little bit before I get into a general synopsis of the story. Um, During the time of this book, it is the Orlesians, a rival country to Ferelden, the country where the game takes place. The Orlesians are still in control, and there is a group of rebels on the run following this woman called the Rebel Queen, who is the grandmother of Kalen, the king from the game, who is in the gold armor in the beginning and dies off. Um, the plot follows primarily Merrick, the son of the Rebel Queen, and Kalen's father, who fights the Orlesians and leads the Rebel army after the beginning of the book, or a little into the book. So anyway, on to the actual book plot. The book starts off, and in the first sentence, Merrick's mother is killed, and by some nobles who acted like they wanted to join the rebels, but were secretly working for the Orlesian king. They kill his mother, and he runs away into the forest and manages to evade the pursuers and kills one of them. After escaping from the forest, he meets up with Loghain, a youngish thief who is the son of a man leading a village of pretty much not rebels, but of people just trying to make their living outside of Orlesian rule. They travel around as a small village, and Loghain's father is pretty much their leader, although he's sort of their unofficial leader. So Marek stumbles upon Loghain and one of his fellow thieves, and he's very hurt, and because he sort of tumbles down these hills and gets lost in the forest and gets pretty beat up. So they take him back to the village where he's healed up, and he doesn't reveal who he is right away, and so he's just sort of there being healed by a woman of the Chantry, and Loghain travels out to find out what happened, where he might have come from, and who the men chasing him were. He finds out from a messenger that the Rebel Queen has been killed, and her son, Marek, escaped, and no one knows really where he is. And so Loghain figures out that Marek is... Well, he doesn't know who Marek is, but he says that he thinks that Marek is the prince who escaped. So he goes back to the village, and his father is asking Marek who he is, and so it's revealed that he's the prince, and he knights Loghain's father just as an army approaches to try to kill Marek, because the usurper, who is the now king of Ferelden, is an Orlesian who is trying to defend the throne against the rightful king, Marek. So Loghain's father leads the defense, newly knighted by Marek, as Loghain and Marek flee. They meet up with the rebel army after being found by by the woman who Marek is supposed to marry, who has been he's been pledged to since they were both children. So Marek meets up with her, and him and Loghain join the army, and pretty much that's the first few chapters of the book. I don't really want to go into more detail because there's only really one or two important characters beyond them, and I don't want to say there are a lot of plot twists, but there are a lot of interesting things that happen that I don't really want to spoil and that you really should read from the book itself. My thoughts on the book now. I honestly did not even know this book existed until a while after I played the game. I remember I was on Amazon, the site where I buy everything from, and I was just searching around looking for some books to buy, and I found that there were 2 Dragon Age books. At the time of this review, I only have The Stolen Throne, but I plan on soon getting Dragon Age: The Calling, which is I think it's unrelated from what I've heard, but I don't know because I haven't read it yet. So I hope to get that book and do a review of that at some point in the near future. But Dragon Age: The Stolen Throne, it's a good book. If you haven't played the Dragon Age Origins game, I would not recommend getting it because it's pretty generic. It's just a pretty generic, gotta reclaim the throne from the guy. We're rebels. It's a pretty well told story in other ways too. But for people who play the game, it is vital that you read this book because it really helps establish the character, not so much of Marek, because Marek isn't in the game, but Loghain. Loghain, one of the central characters from the game, is really built up here, and it really establishes why he does what he does. I think in my Dragon Age Origins review, I even said that I really didn't understand where Loghain was coming from and how he could do the things he did. And this book really establishes why he hates the Orlesians so much and is so incredibly distrusting of them that he's willing to let Caitlyn get killed. And this book, I don't know about the Calling, but this one is very vital because it provides so much backstory for the overall feel of Ferelden being so soon after the war with the Orlesians and now having to deal with this blight, and also especially for the character of Loghain, who you understand through his relationship with his father and with other characters who come along in the book, and what happens to him and what happens to Marek even, and how it all applies to Loghain and builds him up into the character who he is in the game. There are no real characters besides Loghain, except for Caitlyn is in the book in the epilogue because he's just a child, and this whole book is being told as a story to him. But I mean, well, I'm sorry if that sort of spoils it, but I mean, come on, if you played the game, you know that Caitlyn is born, so Marek had to survive and have him. So I mean, the outcome is pretty obvious, but the way they get there is cool. But Loghain is the only character left over in the game, and it's really actually very good for him to get this backstory because you get so little understanding of his motivation in the game. But other than Loghain, it's pretty basic. It's a borrow it. If you haven't played the game, it's a borrow it. But I'm assuming if you're listening to me, you're also into you've also played the game, or at least are into Western RPGs, because I know I am. And if you're into Western RPGs, you've already played all of BioWare's games, including Dragon Age Origins. And if you've played that, and I am absolutely recommending that you buy Dragon Age: The Stolen Throne. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I certainly enjoyed the book, and I would recommend it to anyone who is interested at all. We'll see you guys around.